I looked at my therapist as she stared at me with an all too familiar look. The realization I was too much for her to handle. She opened her mouth and, instead of telling me the truth, uttered a series of excuses. You're self-aware. You know how to use your support system. Not to mention, you know enough about psychology. Why do you need me? I just stared blankly across the room. The therapist then told me to go back to the only other therapist whom I trusted, but he was too much to pay for now that I was on disability. I could not look her in the eye. I must have appeared to be a million miles away, but it was because I was feeling hopeless, abandoned, and betrayed. She went on to tell me I had trust issues. Yes, I do, but she never cared to ask why, or realize I have trust issues because of people like her. I've seen many different therapists, but they are all only of two kinds. There are the ones who, like her, think I am too much for them, and there are those who think they have found their own personal Sybil in me, and I would be the breakthrough in their career. There was only one who believed I was worth more than that, and never gave up on me. But life got tough and money became scarce. I have suffered from bipolar 1 my whole life, though you might never have guessed it. At 3 years old, I showed signs of high intelligence, but I also suffered from hallucinations because of my hypomania. There was one time where I thought I was poisoned for 3 months after touching a paint can. I swore I could see a poison symbol on it, but when I returned to the aisle in the store, I couldn't find the symbol anywhere. I was an A student until 5th grade. I had so many friends and was so excited. I had always loved to learn. Our teacher for the year was my brother's former teacher, who he knew as Mrs. Robinson, or so I thought. I approached her to say hello and greeted her by name. She became very angry and corrected me, saying her name is Miss Gerald. I became confused as she kept correcting me. I went to my seat very upset. It was like the paint can incident all over again. I had on my tinted glasses for my hypersensitivity and was sat in the back near my friends. Miss Gerald immediately called me out. Looking down at her sheet, she called out my name. "Megan, why are you wearing your glasses indoors? Are you a vampire?" She sneered and raised her eyebrow. My confident posture melted into a hunch. "Can I speak in private to explain?" I asked. She shook her head. "No, I want the class to hear your ridiculous reasoning." I tried not to cry and spoke quietly. My mom told me to never tell anyone I was bipolar, or else they might use it against me. But I felt like I had no choice but to tell her. I have an eye condition which makes them sensitive to light. All Miss Gerald responded with was, "Show me, if it's that bad." And that was only the beginning. She started to call me more and had me write in a journal about my personal problems. Then, she would grab it from my hands and found the ammo she was looking for. Bipolar. She then told me to read it to the class. I refused, so she read it in front of everyone as I sat in a chair away from the class, crying. I never wrote anything again. I didn't understand what I was doing wrong or why this was happening. All the students and even my friends began to turn on me and bully me after discovering about my condition. I truly thought this must be my fault. I felt alone. Things escalated even further. Although Miss Gerald never laid a hand on me, she encouraged other students when they would invade my personal space, and I would cry. She then encouraged me being hit and beaten up. She started rumors and pretended to mediate them, even telling my bully that I was bipolar. I had become a person I no longer recognized. I was now a D student, stupid, a crybaby, a liar, and bipolar. In 5th grade, I became anorexic, which later led to bulimia. It was the only way I felt like I could control some part of my life, and the only way I ever felt good. I needed something, anything to give me momentary relief. I stopped trusting authority figures and even withdrew from my family, blaming them for not helping me. I was angry and didn't trust anyone. Whenever I felt like crying, I forced myself to just shut it out. That went on for 18 years. I am now 27 years old and finally figuring my life out. I eventually told my mom and we cried together. My mom apologized and made a vow to always be there in my times of need. She hasn't faltered yet. Our relationship has never been better. My father is now understanding and keeps telling me it's not where you are, but how far you've come. I now tell myself it's okay to cry, even if the tears don't come. Today, I am a writer, a friend, a leader, a career student, and someone who learned to love learning again. And most of all, I am not defined by my illness.